Soundz Taight Radio, the indie spot.
This shit right here is exclusive, and I do this for everybody. I don't care where you at or who you are, this is for you. Let's go.
Welcome to a live and exclusive Thursday show. It's a rare one. We don't really get a chance to get online on a Thursday, but we here. We got some special guests coming in. You know what I mean? We got a special guest on the line with us right now. I'm your boy Taight Squeeze. We got COMPTON in the building as usual.
God.
How you feeling, my man?
Yep, I'm feeling good, man. I can't complain at all, man.
Nice. You know, I dig it. Just for the fact that we here, you know, on a Thursday. We got some things we're gonna talk about. But it's always good to see you, brother. For those, you know, on the outskirts looking in, we actually zooming this thing right now. Right. We're not live on the Zoom, but we live in your presence, you know, in your ears, for that matter. So it's gonna be a good one. We got some things to talk about. A lot of things going on in the world. And you know, it's unfortunate, but it's kind of cool at the same time because the same thing is going on everywhere in the world. And I don't know when the last time something like this has happened on this magnitude. It's an unfortunate, but it's definitely a universal situation that we're dealing with, and we're gonna talk about it, right? So I want to turn the attention to my brother from the same mother, Mr. Fat Fire the Fever. He on the line with us right now. How you feeling, man?
I'm good, brother. Good.
This is good. So I think this is something that's it was just in the making. Man. It was inevitable. It was gonna happen, right? So here we are. I'm listening to the music. You know, we haven't had a chance to put it on the station, but I have heard the music, and I definitely want to know how you feel about what's going on. So, COMPTON, if you don't mind, I want to turn the tables to the artist that's currently with us right now. You know, Mr. Fat Five.
Yeah.
Go ahead and introduce yourself to the people, and then let's talk about this thing.
So, Grand Glorious World's Fetty Five Fever, the one and only. Very blessed to be here. My latest project is an EP called Religion. My first single was released a few months ago called Pain, and it's about exactly what we've experienced in May, going all the way back to the Trayvon Martin, Eric Gardner, out to Sterling, Sandra Bland, all the way up to where we have now with Mr. George Floyd. So all of that is captured there, and it really talks about the depression and just that dark, negative place that we go to as Black men when we have to keep continuing to relive those types of experiences and incidents. And it goes all the way back to, you know, since the first Africans stepped foot on this soil unwillingly and non-voluntarily. It goes all the way back to that, and to have to continue to relive it 500 years later is just disheartening. And Pain captures that. I actually recorded it on a slave ship.
Wow.
A lot of it was recorded on a slave ship. Got access and permission to do a lot of the scenes in the Civil Rights Museum. So I was there with a replica of Martin Luther King's funeral. I was there in a replica of the cell that they arrested and placed a lot of our Civil Rights War heroes in, and that slave ship scene. You know, I was in an old racist whites only diner. And so I did a lot, you know, there was a lot going on in that video. So I was able to capture that and just put the song in place with that, make all the visuals sync up to the audio. And it's just a beautiful thing, in addition to excerpts from the incidents, you know, that resulted in the lost lives of Alton Sterling, Sandra Bland, and a lot of the others that happened before this George Floyd case.
Yeah, say their name. And so this is kind of like going to parallel in the sense of like an interview as an artist, but I think the night is definitely dedicated more so to, like, what are your thoughts on our thoughts on what's happening around the world? And I know we've heard, we've seen, but it's your voice too. Right. So have you had a chance to go and protest? And if so, how was that?
So you know what, I'm not a protest type. I want to see action, and I want to see change. I have been paying attention, and so I'm seeing some of the same things, but this time, at this age, at this point in my life, I was able to pick up on a trend, right? And the trend is our fathers, right? The fathers of a generation have always been the one marching for their rights in hopes that the rights would be inherited by their sons. In this generation, for the past couple of years, those fathers are absent out of those sons' homes. And so ironically, they're both being targeted. So they're murdering the father's generation and the son's generation at the same time. Whereas prior to now, we've all inherited our father's civil rights activism or what have we, and now we're marching for our rights because they're too old to do it and it didn't work out for them. So now we have to do it, right? Now we're all targets. And so they're getting the 2 for 1. They're killing the father and the son, even though the father and the son are not really involved with one another. A lot of us are in homes where our fathers aren't there. Right. And so that's really, for me, that's what gets to me. That's what tugs on my heartstring. And that's what makes me look at it from a different angle.
Wow. I like it. Jump on in here with us, man. It's unfortunate, it's just an unfortunate cycle. So did you have a chance to protest or how do you feel about what you've seen in the protests?
I haven't had the chance as of yet, but I'm looking forward to it. I want to get my kids out there and get them to be able to see exactly what it is, because I think a lot of what we're dealing with now it's already been seen, and it was more thrown in our face, man, in our upbringing. And I don't think it's as much thrown in our face in the kids' face as it is now,
Right.
I think they don't quite see the seriousness of it. It's a lot more privilege from both sides, all genders, all races, all genders. It's a lot more privilege than it was then. But that makes it better because it gives us a better platform and it gives us more say. We have a lot of pull now comparison to what we had then. We own more business. We own more business. We own the music industry. You know what I'm saying? We took over sports. So we have more people out there to speak for us and take on a lot of the situations that we deal with. You know what I'm saying? And actually say something in a market that people will listen. It's unfortunate, everything that's happening, and I know a lot of people are judging the looters and all of these. Look, I say it like this. I don't have a special hate for anybody looting. I feel like the protesters and the looters are doing as they feel. I've always lived by and always heard growing up, man, you're going to give me the respect that I deserve or I'm going to take it by force. And unfortunately, some people feel like that's the only way that they can express their frustration. Everybody is not on the same platform. Everybody doesn't speak the same. Everybody's aggression is not the same. Everybody's, life is not the same. But we're all in this struggle together, and I feel like they're doing what they feel will get something or get the attention of somebody that will say something.
Right.
I definitely, you can see that the attention has been gotten, right? Like the message has, I don't know if it's been received, but it's being heard, right?
It's heard.
It's definitely heard. So there's a lot of races out there protesting, right?
Yes.
And when you talk about the looting, it's you really, until you're out there yourself and seeing it firsthand, and it's happening in pockets, right? Where the dominant race is black, the dominant race is white, the dominant race is Latin, the dominant race is Asian, at certain situations. But what it comes down to is the media is only showing us what they want us to see.
Right.
And on a larger scale, when they zoom out and you get that aerial view, you really get a chance to see, like, hold up, there's not as many, or there's more of what you didn't show us, and when you see that, it's beautiful to see everybody out there in harmony supporting one cause. And we'll get into later, you know, about the people taking advantage, you know, how we feel about that. But on just the protesting stage itself, it's beautiful to see a bunch of different ethnicities out there. One thing that we all have been thinking for years, you know, when we have a Black Lives Matter or a situation involving a Black life and police brutality, and we have these protests, who's out there with us? And we understand that, you know, our white brothers and sisters who might support our cause, there's repercussions for them in their community when they come out and support us, right? But where's the LGBT community? Where's the Armenian community? Where's the Arab? Where are all the other minorities that are dealing with the same things, but it's not really televised? Now we're seeing them come out and support, and they're tearing up shit.
Big time. It's big time.
Right.
You know,
it's pretty cool.
Right. I agree with that.
It's amazing. You know, I felt like this is what we needed, but that also goes into the fact that, man, everything has changed. I know a lot of people feel like stuff hasn't changed. We're dealing with the same thing. Look, we're dealing with the same thing in a different situation. Okay? Things have changed. We got a lot of people out here, man, that have definitely changed. We got our kids out here. You understand? Our kids is out here protesting. You know, we seeing 7, 8, 14-year-old kids out here protesting.
Right.
You know, that means their understanding they're starting to grasp the understanding of what's going on outside.
And so I think that, and that's where I kind of am, and where I'm seeing this from a different angle now. The issue, I think, in the past, it wasn't that we were marching in vain and our grandparents and our parents were marching in vain. It was they weren't paying attention and protesting the right way for the right things, right? Like Martin Luther King said in his speech to Other America, right, where he realized that he was out marching and protesting for equality, whereas he should have been protesting and marching. He felt like he should have been protesting and marching and asking for some economic, right? Some economic infrastructure to be developed for the people that he was marching for and the people that were protesting with him. And so I think that a step beyond that is what we're seeing now, is that at the end of this, a 46-year-old man lost his life, like at the irresponsible, I'm gonna say, knee of a dirty, crooked cop. And with that same thing, this particular Mr. Floyd, he also represents the father, right? Because at the same time, he was murdered on the 25th of May. So let's talk about him. Every time when one of us die at the hands of a police officer, they go back in the past and say, oh, he was a criminal when he was 16 or whatever. So he had it coming. He should be happy he got an extra 30 years. Right. Because he got caught with a joint at 16, right? So we have that. But what's being overlooked is that another 17-year-old was murdered in Sanford, Florida. Trayvon Martin, Sanford, Florida, a 17-year-old on May 5th, 2020 was murdered, right? In self-defense. In self-defense, he was breaking into a car. It's the stand your ground state. The guy who car he was breaking into heard him out there rumbling, jumped out, fired off a shot. The 17-year-old took off running and he was hit and he died, right? So we have the 46-year-old man gets murdered by a police officer. And then we have the 17-year-old getting murdered, breaking into a car, right? Just graduated, breaking into a car, right? And yet the past of the 46-year-old that was innocent, right? The past at 17, 16 years old, he was struggling with the same issues that the 17-year-old that died 20 days earlier was struggling with that got him killed. And so in all of this, the different perspective is we're looking at the same thing. We're looking at the 17-year-old who died at 17 and this 46-year-old who the 17-year-old would have most likely became anyway. Right. And so as a country, the police, the law enforcement is looking at it like, hey, we either do it early or late. And those are the two targeted groups.
Right.
From a protest perspective, no one is saying, hey, What can we, while we're out here campaigning this time and while we're out here protesting this time and checking the mayors and the governors or whatever, because that's where the real issue is in the state.
Right.
Going down to DC to ask the federal government to assist in getting us equal rights and getting our rights acknowledged and upheld at the state level is one thing, but if you bypass the mayor and the governor, the federal government has no control over your mayor and your governor.
Right.
So you got to go, it's the chain of command. And so what we've done is in these protests, the kids are out there tearing shit up. They burning the cities down.
Right.
So that means we can start from scratch. When you build a new house, you tear the old one down.
Exactly.
So they're doing their part. The adults are going to DC to a president that they already don't really care for, that they don't believe has their best interest.
We don't care about them.
Right? But they're bypassing the mayor and the governor, which means that you're going to this federal government to tell them to go and exercise rights in the jurisdiction they don't really have jurisdiction over. And the governor can sit back, the police officers will get off on third-degree murder and do probation for taking a life. Right? And then the youth done burned the city down for them to really rebuild it. And no one went and told the governor, hey, you know what? Our kids burnt the city down. We ran out the people that wasn't supposed to be there, that was trying to get us kicked out and moving us out. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take a percentage of the budget and those dollars for these contracts that you would have gave to them to come and kick the rest of us out. You're going to give them to us. We're going to train our youth so that they can rebuild their city, and then they're going to own it. Right? And so in order to do that, we're fighting for criminal justice and judicial equality, whereas we have to fight for equal justice, judicial equality, but we also have to fight for academic and educational equality as well, because we're also dealing with the fact that our kids got one half of a school year this year, and we're already struggling to educate them and get them the quality of education that the others are getting. And so now they're a year and a half behind. I have a son that just graduated and he's going to high school on a half a semester of his 8th grade. And so he's behind, right? He's going to be behind. And so it's up to me as a parent to teach him his 8th grade in the summer so that he can go to the 9th grade and be able to compete with kids that's been getting a quality education all their lives, right? No one is saying that. So these kids is doing their part. It's boring to sit around and hold a sign. Kids want to do stuff.
Right.
So it's more fun and more entertaining to loot and break out windows and set police cars on fire. If I was 15, 16, I'd take more interest in that as well.
And if you heard the things that have gone on for years and years with no change.
Right.
I want people to sit back for a second, man, and honestly think about if this whole protesting thing, we done had 60,000 plus people protesting. Would it have been as relevant without the looters to start in the first? We got to get the attention of people that don't want to listen. We have had years after years after years of people going on Capitol Hill and speaking the same thing about being just, being equal, being right, being righteous for years. Our great-grandparents fought for the same thing. Our grandparents fought for the same thing. Our parents fought for the same thing. We fought for it, and now our kids are fighting for the exact same thing. The only difference now is because they chose to go on social media, which is something that has been amazing.
Powerful tool.
Powerful tool, yes.
Okay? And they went out and they didn't go to the hood. That's the problem. They didn't stay in Watts. They didn't go to Compton. You know what I'm saying? They didn't stay in the dirt in North Carolina. They didn't stay in the hood areas, in the urban areas, or the Black communities, or the middle class communities. They went to where rich folk spend their money. They went to where rich folk have their money at. And that is the problem, that everybody's calling these folks criminals. Look, every protester that stepped outside, I appreciate 100%, Black, white, Asian, and other. I appreciate it because this is something that we've been saying on a day-to-day basis for our whole life. And it's unfortunate. We got to wake up and tell our kids to be safe. Nobody else has to do that.
Right.
Now, if they feel like they need to break something, if they need to look, for every cop car that burns, it's for every life y'all took.
Right.
Buy another. We can't buy no more lives.
Hey, I dig that right there. Look, this is what I wanted. I want you to hold that thought, because cop face is buckling up right now. I can feel the pain and energy through the phone. You know what I mean? So here's what I want to do. Brother Sly jumped in on the line. I want to take a step back, get into some music real quick, because it's at the end of the day, you know, we got to definitely let everybody regroup, come back and get these thoughts, collect your thoughts, and then let's continue with this, because it's going exactly where I had a feeling it was going to go. And this is dope. Sly the asshole on the line with us. How you feeling, my man?
Hey, man, I'm just glad to be in the mix, man. I've been finally back to work. You know what I mean? I'm working in LA County, so you know, I'm getting to see everything firsthand right now. So yeah, we definitely gonna talk about this when we get back, man. I'm with that.
This is dope. This is dope. Soundz Taight Radio, the indie spot. Don't you go nowhere. We will be right back. We are back. It's going all the way down. So we got some guys on the line with this. You know, it's one of those conversations, one of those moments where it was definitely time, considering the circumstance and unfortunate events in the world. We had to get back. Brother 55 the Fever's on the line. Brother Compton's on the line. Brother Sly is on the line. I like the name, Brother Sly. Did we change the name?
Yeah.
Brother Sly.
Brother
Sly.
I just switched it up real quick. I was gonna put some weird shit, but you know me, nigga. But I was like, man, let me keep it simple.
Because we used to call him Sly the asshole. I guess you're nice now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, opportune time. We get the asshole out there now.
I'm a little mature now, man. You know what I'm saying? I take my pinky out when I'm drinking, bro. So you gotta respect it, man.
So everybody, you know, this is like the whole squad. This is the indie spot right here. And we're talking about, you know, the George Floyd situation, but it goes a little bit beyond that. You know, we're talking about the protests and how the world is actually coming together to support the cause. Because believe it or not, America's not the only place that deals with racism, right? No. So you got Puerto Rico, they're turning up. You got France, they're turning up. I mean, you go around the world, everywhere that people of a darker pigment has been profiled, has been discriminated against. They're using this platform, this moment as a chance to bring awareness to it and not cry for change, not ask for change. They're forcing it.
Yep.
They're forcing it. So, Brother Sly, I know you tagged in a little bit late. I mean, we had some good conversations, real good dialogue in the first session. I just want to bring you into the conversation, man, and ask, like, have you had a chance to protest? What have you seen in the protest? How do you feel about the protest? What are your thoughts on the protesting?
Personally, man, due to this whole pandemic stuff, man, I'm not trying to risk my life or risk anyone else's life, man. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I felt it was very needed. You know what I'm saying? The protest peacefully, you know what I'm saying? The national outrage, all 50 states, the biggest civil rights movement in history, celebrities, you know what I'm saying? Not caring about endorsements, not caring about sponsorships. Right, you know what I'm saying? Right. Really going out there and being active, you know what I'm saying? And it's been and you can tell, you know, you can tell the John Boyegas from the Drew Breeses right now, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like everybody got their own opinion, and when it's all said and done, you know, like you can hear the ones that are really out there doing it and really for the movement, and the ones who got something, you know, opposite to say, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, when it's all said and done, man, we done brought the witches out. We done brought the Amish out. We done brought Batman out. You know what I'm saying? You know, everybody from the resistance, from up underneath the sink that came out to help, man. You know what I'm saying? And we only had to go against, you know, our own commander in chief in the military, man. So I think the outpour of support was a lot more than I thought it was. There was a lot of infiltration, you know what I'm saying? Hence all the violence and the looting and the burning and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? But when it's all said and done, man, I think the overall message is positive. You know what I'm saying? I think it's gonna force change. It's gonna force a lot of change. But it's at the same time it's sad and it's depressing that it took this much, man, just to arrest 3 people. You know what I'm saying? It took so much just to get justice. You know what I'm saying? And we ain't got justice yet. We just got them, you know, behind. This is just phase 1.
So here's something that's cool about it. With you know, this weekend was like watching The Purge on rerun. I'm gonna just keep it real. Last weekend, from Friday through Sunday, it was like watching The Purge on rerun. So I really sat back and just soaked in the energy of the universe. That was something I really wanted to see, and it was a tense, edge of your seat moment, But everyone knew that they had to arrest the other 3 officers in order for this to at least get some sort of release on that tension. That would put the peaceful protesters at ease and say, okay, I'm gonna wait until I'm still gonna speak up, but I'm not gonna be as active as I was until the verdict.
Yeah.
And then it took the individuals that had the looting mentality to say, okay, they got the other 3, so now we can't say that justice hasn't been progressed. Initiated, right? So now they're taking a lighter tune to the protest. You guys still got some groups, But Compton, I want to go back to you because I know before we went to break, you were definitely touching on something, and the energy was there. And I wanted to make sure we had a chance to refresh it and power up real quick, But getting back into the looting and because Compton was saying, the kids are taking their energy and their frustration out from all of these years of oppression, right? So we have the infiltration, but we also have the pent-up energy, and they all are geared towards the same cause. So to Compton, if you don't mind, just bring us back to where you were a few moments ago.
It's a black curtain moment. It's a black curtain moment for everybody, the whole world. You either come out and perform. What the black curtain mean? When the black curtains open up, it could be red curtains, whatever color you want. But once they open up, you got to perform,
right,
or you get off the stage.
Right.
And right now, everybody is showing their true character. You see the exact people that are against you. The problem with the world is, realism is not something that's on a day-to-day basis. I can be one way at work and come home and be something totally different. I can be against the world, and you'll never know it. But this moment right here brought everybody to the point where they got to say, well, why you ain't say nothing? I mean, the curtains opened up. You ain't say nothing.
Right, right. You just stage fright.
You didn't even perform. So why you didn't perform? Or either you performed, but you didn't do a good job. You came out and you said something against it. Drew Brees made the mistake. Multiple people made the mistake.
Nah, they made mistakes.
they made mistakes.
There's ain't mistakes. That's their true selves. So they just took the mask and the jersey and the celebrity off. We know who they are. We know where they stand.
And the fearful part about it is, we spend a lot of black dollars, and I don't want to make it a race thing, but we spend a lot of black dollars on a lot of people, man, that are against your color, or against your look, or against your kids, or against your daughter, or against your beliefs. And we can all live in this world perfectly fine if we separate ourselves from, all of the hate. But unfortunately, that's not what it is. And so we spend our black dollars on these people's jerseys.
I want to chime in on that.
So make them better.
So I do these classes, these workshops, and what I tell the young brothers is that, you can go out there and think that, it's a diverse world and it's getting better and everybody is mixing in. One thing that always has to be segregated is money. Money will always be racist, right? Money has to always be racist, because when money is no longer racist, then there's a significant imbalance, right? It's like 7.3 billion people in the world, and half of them are of African descent. Right. So if half of 7.3 billion people decided, hey, every year, we know some people are poor and in third world countries where they don't really have economic systems. They still trade and barter and they're fine, right?
Right.
But if we had $1 for every person of African descent and just said, hey, we're gonna put $1 away every year towards the youth, right? Towards the world's youth, $1, right? We'll have over $3 billion, right? For the youth. And when you think about it, the real losers in this are the youth. They're oppressed for 18 years and can do nothing about it. They're oppressed at home. because they have to do whatever their parents tell them to do, right? They're oppressed at school. They can't speak up for themselves and have an opinion. They need to sit down, shut up, and do page 88, questions 1 through 12, right? They go to church, and when the pastor say something that don't make sense, they can't ask a question because their grandmother or one of the elders is gonna look at them weird and tell them to shut the hell up, or even though they're in church, right? Right. They get discriminated. They're oppressed every step of the way for 18 years. Every step of the way. So if you want to talk about discrimination and not talk about age discrimination with the youth, right? We expect for them to do everything for free for 18 years and then figure out how to get a job and get paid, right? That's why you can get an intern for free for 18 months.
Right.
After they're in debt from going to college.
From going to college, yeah.
Right? So we need, with all this marching, and they're the ones that show up on time to these protests. They camp out. They can't wait. Where the bricks at?
Right.
They can't wait. Right? And so while they burning, they're doing their part by burning the city down because it was built on blood and it needs to be burned down. But us as adults need to go and speak on their behalf first. We didn't already paved our way. We got into our lanes. We lazy, whatever habits we done picked up or whatever accomplishments we have, that's it. We set in that. That's not going to change. They have options. And we need to go and make sure that they have options that they can exercise now. So when they turn 18, they're Mark Zuckerberg and not Adrian Green.
You know what? I just want to jump in real quick because of what you said. You know, that for 18 years they have to do as they told, and then they have to build themselves from that process. You know what? I told my dad earlier today. I said, man, we the only race of people, man, that came and had to rebuild ourselves from nothing and make something from it. We had to rebuild a whole culture of people, a whole culture of lives. You know, how to teach
masculinity,
how to be a man, how to be a woman, how to cook food, how to do this, how to get education. We did that. And it's unfortunate on both sides that it took us so long to get to the point that we are now, where we can honestly say we ain't taking no more. It's a lot of people that said it in the past, but didn't have the support to push it. But now you have the support to push it. We the only race that ever pulled out the gutter. We got more millionaires and billionaires than you believe or you ever looked up or ever.
Silent money. It's silent money.
You know, but we did that with no education.
Right.
We did that with no guidelines, with no background.
Right.
You know, with no grandfather's speech, with no grandmother's speech.
Right.
You understand? The same food they threw out, we made gourmet. Now we got people that travel the world to eat our food.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
We taught ourselves sports. We taught ourselves education. We made a movement that changed the world. And to this day, right now, we are still making moves. You know what I'm saying? You go outside, you can't go a day without Black culture. You remove Black culture, you remove America. Ain't nothing left.
Right.
We are.
And that
of
speaks
this generation and before.
And that right there speaks to the issues at hand, right? We have two issues: criminal justice reform and education / preparing our youth, right? Those two things are at the foundation and at the core of our ancestors, our true ancestors' religions anyway. We worship a balanced justice system called Ma'at, right? And then we built an academic infrastructure to teach our youth how to carry the village on so that we can retire at 30, right?
Right.
Both of those things are what we lost coming here and being brought here. And those are the true things that we're fighting for. What are we're not treated fairly in the judicial system, and we're not educated so that we can create a better lives for ourselves. Those are our issues. Those are the things that we worship. which is why we've been able to manifest ourselves from nothing repeatedly. And so now, on behalf of our youth, because we've already done our things again, we've already done what we're gonna do. But on behalf of our youth, we need to go and reestablish that order and make balance, equal moral justice, and preparation for successful lives. We need to make that our religion and then pass it down to them. All this other stuff it don't matter no more.
Right.
So I want you to jump in here real quick, and then we're gonna take a break and get into some more music. But I want to bring Sly into the conversation, man. So speak on our brother Sly. Speak on.
I wanted to touch on, you know what I'm saying, both our brothers' conversation, man, about the culture, man. And I just had this conversation yesterday with the Mexican homie, man, that lives in San Jose. I buy comics from him, you know what I'm saying? He cool though, punk rock dude, but he Mexican. You know what I'm saying? So he's on the outside looking in, but he a minority also, you know what I'm saying? So he feels a certain way about it that white people won't, you know what I'm saying? So we and him have a conversation about it, you know what I mean? And I had to break it down to him, man, because he posted something, man, that was a little bit, you know, awkward, you know what I'm saying? So I had to tell him, man, this is how black people really feel about it, you know what I'm saying? He posted like the whole black face, white face thing, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like with the white chicks, you know what I'm saying? And then Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I had to tell him, bro. I was like, man, when it's all said and done, that's entertainment. You know what I'm saying? And those people get paid, man, to entertain us, man. We don't have to accept it, man. And that's what the American principles are built on, you know what I'm saying? But the reason why there's so much counterculture and so much cancel culture, I should say, is because black people run the culture, right? Everybody knows this. We run Twitter. We run, you know, the shootings and the killings.
Run it, but don't own it. That's the point I'm gonna get to, man. I had to tell him, man. Black people are fighting amongst themselves more than what y'all see, because y'all see the aftermath of the fruit we produce. You know what I'm saying? The status quo of whatever it is to be black today, man, it got lost. Half of it got lost in the boats. You know what I'm saying? So when it's all said and done, when we got here, man, you know what I'm saying, and we got through slavery, man. It's been 400 years, man, and we got through segregation, you know what I'm saying? And then we had a nice cool down period, man, where everything seemed cool, even though the racism never went nowhere, you know what I'm saying? But the media was portraying everything like it was cool, and then technology caught up, and here we are today in 2020, you know what I'm saying? So with the culture, man, I think the culture needs to come together and be more consistent, a little bit more, how can I say this, you know what I'm saying, a little bit more solidarity, because if not, man, we're going to have people like Joe Biden talking about, oh, if you're not black, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It's because we don't have that solidarity to say, no, brother, you know what I'm saying? You're not black. We don't have to vote for you necessarily, you know what I'm saying? You know, and I'm not saying anything pro-Trump or anything like that, you know what I'm saying? But there's gotta be. We gotta make something, man. That's for us, and we claim we together, but when the cameras is off, when the white people ain't attacking us, it's almost never that good of a situation, man. And we honestly, I think the culture needs to come together on a lot of issues. The culture needs to come together on a lot of topics that aren't comfortable for us. And 2020 is the year of non-discomfort.
Yes.
Yeah, 2020 is the year for discomfort. And I think it's yes, we need police reform. Not just for black people, but for people in general, because they're out here killing white people too. You know what I'm saying? They're out here killing anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But we got to be the spearheads for that, nigga. You know what I'm saying? God bless us, man, because, you know, it's been a long time coming. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to sing Amazing Grace the whole way. You know what I'm saying? So,
I want to jump in real quick.
Man. We still need to have that conversation with ourselves.
Oh, yeah,
and that's
sure.
what I'm saying, man.
But I want to jump in real quick because you said it. You brought it up. You know, it took 400 years to break it. You ain't going to fix it this quick. I'm going to be straight up with you.
Wait, hold on. No, I'm going to jump in.
Let's do this. I want everybody to take it. You know, we still got the people out there tuning in. I know they're man, it's getting juicy. So this is what I want to do. I want to take a step back, and I'm gonna just give them something real quick. But I see where we're going. So I'm about to play a song right now, just like regroup the energy. And then we're going to come right back. We're going to talk about this thing because I see where it's going. I know where it's going. We're about to have some fun now. Soundz Taight Radio, the indie spot. Don't you go nowhere. We will be right back. The indie spot. We are back. We are back in the building. Hey, I must say that I am definitely impressed and pleased with the three gentlemen we have on the line. Just discussing the topics at hand. I know so many layers to peel back and dissect. I almost feel like it's going to be a part 2 of this TBC, one of those type of moments. But where we are right now, just in discussing and how we left off, I want to bring it back to the forefront. I'm gonna turn the tables to Dr. 35 the Fever. Bring us back in, and continue to talk. So,
Brother Compton was talking about how, we were stripped for 400 years and, it's going to take a while to build and rebuild. And I beg to differ because when you think about it, fortunately, and this is all divine intervention, on when all of this was going on, we had the pandemic, Brother Floyd gets murdered or what have we. I had some personal things going on, and without even knowing that this was going to happen, I end up right down the street from the original Black Wall Street. So that's where I am right now, right? And so when you said that, what popped in my head is, they built Black Wall Street, young Black men and women in between the ages of 17 and 23, primarily, some older, built Black Wall Street in 8 years. In 8 years. So the Black Wall Street everybody talking about, they built it in 8 years. And after the 8 years of building, they were fluent and vibrant for 7 years before it got burned down. Right? We have technology to where if we wanted to, we can do it in 1 year.
Right.
And the only thing we'd have to do at that particular point in time is prevent it from being burned down again.
Right.
And taken. Right? And so again, we have to face and turn to our youth and say, hey, we're going to take it. Y'all burnt it down. We're going to go and take it. And then we need to work together to rebuild it. Y'all can have it. It's yours. It's going to be yours. But let's rebuild it and let us show you how to take care of it and protect it. Because last time we didn't have a protection. Right? And so I'm here absorbing all these energy. All this positive energy from the ancestors, the Black Wall Street ancestors. And the blueprint is here. The blueprint is here. We can do this wherever. I'm coming back ready to rock and roll with all the information, and I'm stepping off a plane, going right into action. Ain't no more talking and planning and all that is here. It's time.
Nice.
Ain't no more waiting. We putting it down.
Okay.
No, it sounds like with the protests and the situation, evoked it reawakened a revolution, the revolution that was in progress. The revolution will be televised. Revolution's in progress, but realistically, it was kind of dormant for years. We were comfortable with what was given. We were given the athletes to idolize. These are your stepping stones. This is how far you can get. This is what you can become. But I think subconsciously we knew that there was more to it, right? The idea of being free was a feeling, but it was never really experienced. We were free to a certain degree, especially with our youth. They're free to get as high as they want, say what they want on this music. I think they liberated themselves culturally or generationally through the music. But now that we have a worldwide situation, I think we're really seeing how free they felt. They're free to do whatever they want. They're free to self-destruct. So imagine what they're going to do to the rest of the world.
Right.
And that's what we're experiencing right now. So with the blueprint and with the Black Wall Street, and this is where we're going to leave, I think we also definitely, as we built the Black Wall Streets and we have the protection. I mean, you have more Black gun owners now than you did back at that time. I don't even think it was legal to have a specific type of firearm. And then, you think about Jake Fromm's comment about the elite whites having access to the specific type of, I want to call it a silencer, but this specific type of equipment for his gun. You're going to have that. You're going to have that says, okay, like Trump, you can have your missiles, but you can't have a nuclear missile. But America can build one because we know how to control it. But you can't have one because we don't trust you over there. You know, you think about these things like that. So we have the protection. It's now we're gonna have to make sure we have the education because you can't leave it. It's just like if you take it back to Inglewood, like in the 80s when, you know, our grandparents purchased the homes, you know, dirt cheap, and they got older, they passed away, and the kids came in, they sold those homes. For a nice profit, moved out to where you can get a bigger piece of property, but the land value was trash. Right. You had all this excess money, and a lot of them didn't invest into that community. They just bought the home, bought all the cars, and then eventually lost it. Yep. So you have to have the education just like you have the money. They have to go hand in hand. Either that or you have to have the strategy. Because, I mean, I want to say the education, but we have millionaires that hasn't even graduated from high school. So when you think about that, it's a different type of education. So teach the business side of it, the money side of it. And I think it'll be sustained, but you have to have the education hand in hand with the money.
And that goes hand in hand with what I was saying earlier. If you go and you fight to reform the judicial system, then you're saying, all right, you know, you guys were getting 4 years for something we're getting 20 years for, right? Mm-hmm. The judicial system can obviously say, hey, you know what? Well, fuck it, everybody get 20 years, right? And we back into the same. Nothing was changed. We still get 20 years. Right.
Now they just inclusive.
20 years for it. And on the flip side, our children aren't being taught to create their own jobs.
Right.
And so they'll just end up serving the same 20 years everybody else getting now. So we didn't fight for anything. We back into Martin Luther King's shoes, where he turned around and realized, oh man, I've been marching for the wrong thing, right? We back in that. So yeah, now everybody get 20 years. We need to be preparing them to create their own jobs, to create their own economies. We've seen this youth generation develop something called a cryptocurrency,
right?
Which is money that doesn't exist. It's money that doesn't exist, and they made money that doesn't exist worth more than $1.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's been under attack. And so if these youth with that technology can do that, and they're not getting the quality education, imagine if we gave them an education that was one quality to where they understood, not learned and memorized, but understood, you know, basic algebra and biology and chemistry and physics, right? But also learn about themselves and their heritage, not African history, not African American history, but heritage, right? Then we get closer to what the ancestors had, but we for sure make sure that we develop those same types of people that built a Black Wall Street.
Right.
I'm gonna jump in on something real quick, man, because there's one component, man. I think everybody's missing out of the conversation, and it's probably the most important, man. When we became free, you know what I'm saying? What was the first thing they allowed us to do, man? Was to get money, right? Mm-hmm. And we've been stuck on that ever since, man. While the true essence of money is in the power, because the people with the power make the money themselves. And I think once we get to a point of power, you know what I'm saying, as a culture, you know what I'm saying, creating the laws, creating the money, you know what I mean? Just like, you know, touching back on the cryptocurrency, you know what I'm saying, touching on everybody's subjects, but you know what I'm saying, look at rappers, man. They don't care about, they have the power because they have a voice, but they're using it incorrectly. You know what I'm saying? They're not using it appropriately. You know what I'm saying? They're teaching the youth to focus on the money and nothing else matters. You know what I'm saying?
So do you think? So do you think you talk about power, and it brings me back to a person like Master P, who controlled his own destiny. He had the power. Yeah. As soon as he started to get attacked, I want to say by his own kind. You had a chance to see the human in him. Sometimes when you have that power, you have to kind of like lose your humanity, because 100% of the people aren't going to love it. Martin Luther King was attacked by his own. Malcolm X was attacked by his own. You know, we talk about the Malcolm X mentality, but at the end of his life, he found peace, and he wanted peace. You know, the shotgun, the rifle Malcolm X was like earlier on. It changed as he got, you know, towards the end of his reign, you know. But what I'm thinking about is when it comes to the power, are we strong enough? Do we have that type of restraint to celebrate the power? Because everybody can't have the power. You have to have self-power, but you also will have somebody else that there's always going to be somebody greater. There's always going to be somebody else better. Are we strong enough for that?
Yes, we can.
There's two forms of power, man.
We've done it.
Yeah.
We've done it. As a people, we've done it. You think about everybody talented out there, man, that we've had that has made drastic moves no matter what they did. You know, entertainment, sports, regardless. We always had somebody on top. You know, we was always able to accept that somebody was on top. Our problem is not the acceptance of the world. Our problem is our due diligence in the world. Why do we do more and get less? Why do I run the business but don't own the business? That's the issue.
And that's
and
what
if we run the business, do we go on to give it to our youth? Do we take in more of our own youth in our business? See, the problem is never that we don't want to say this person is the boss and that person is. Look, we'll do what it takes, man, to make it. Always. We, as a race, as a culture, we will survive always. That's surviving is not the problem.
Right.
Surviving, teaching, and educating is the problem.
Right.
You know
And so
if we did better, we would have taught better, and we would have eliminated a lot of the processes and a lot of the situations that we've been through so far.
Yeah, and I like to jump in and say that we don't need the money. We don't need the money. The money is the problem, because at the end of the day, when the upper elite and the upper echelon and the wealthy, they don't care about money. Everything they have is paid for. They use money to pay us to keep us in our places. And so we don't want money. This time around, we want to own our community. So give us the land. We want the territory. We want to be able to control the resources and everything that's produced in our community. Everything. We need to control the resource. We want to own our communities. We don't need money at that point, because ultimately now we have something you don't. It takes us back to the ancestors. We have an abundance of something that you can't have, that you don't have, and we control it. So now you're going to pay us for it. And instead of, you can give me $30 million. That's cool. I don't want $30 million. I want you to do this, to owe me this favor. Right? I want you to give up, because we run in the city. I want you to give me 2 seats in the governor's office and 3 seats in the Senate. Right? Those are the types of moves you make when you want some power. If you're talking about money, you're just going to be owned by somebody, which is what a politician is. A politician is owned.
Right.
And so we need to remove ourselves from playing that game so that we're not owned. Every celebrity, since Kaepernick took his knee and said, oh, you know what? Y'all want to own me? I don't want to be owned. They set him free. He sued them and still got paid. And now he has more power than he ever had. And so all the other athletes after that have become more and more slaves. You can't take a knee. You can't protest. You got to stand and sing. Matter of fact, we want you to dance while they singing the national anthem, or you're going to get fined.
You an entertainer now.
Right? Yeah, you's a tap dancer now.
Right.
He done made it bad for the rest of y'all. That's where we are. And so I think back to this George Floyd thing, I think the celebrities are like, you know what, enough is enough. I'm no longer dancing. I'm no longer gonna put a smile on my face. This hurts. The wind is knocked out of me, and you can kick rocks. I grew up with roaches, eating banana and mayonnaise sandwiches. And so right about now, that's more delicious than what I'm able to afford by you owning me.
Right. Wow.
And that's how we take the power back, man.
Yeah.
How you take the power back.
Exactly.
That's exactly how we take the power back, man.
Exactly.
There's
the knowledge in the pocket.
Exactly, man. There's 2 forms of power, man, and we've seen it. We've seen it, man, because we have the power to champion power. You know what I'm saying? Let's say Kendrick Lamar. We gave him that power. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? He is an orator. You know what I'm saying? He has the ability to teach. You know what I'm saying? And we said, oh man, I like what he's teaching. Let's give this man the power, you know what I'm saying, to teach more, right?
Right.
And then you got the people that earn it. You know what I'm saying? You got the Bronze Bomber. What's his name? The former heavyweight champion.
Oh yeah, Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder.
You know what I'm saying? He earned that power. You know what I'm saying? And he's an orator too. You know what I'm saying? But you know, he earned it in his own lane, which is boxing. You know what I'm saying? But now he in front of the camera. You know what I'm saying? Not everything he says is you know, glitz and glam and the smartest thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he still get his time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He has that power to be like, okay, you know what I'm saying? I earned this with my physical attributes. You know what I'm saying? So I think as a community, man, we need to come together, man, and teach ourselves, man. These are the two best ways, man, to take control. You know what I'm saying? You either we got to champion somebody, or you got to get it on your own. You know what I'm saying? And the money will come, you know what I'm saying, once the power is there, you know what I'm saying? But if you focus on the money, you know what I mean, then you lost. There's a lot of rich black folk that got money, but they ain't saying nothing.
Yeah. Right.
And
They worth nothing.
they ain't saying
But we ain't on them. We ain't on them like we should be.
Zero net worth.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Kanye West, you know what I'm saying? God bless him, man. You know what I'm saying? He just donated $22 million or a college fund to George Floyd's daughter, you know what I'm saying? But he ain't said a word.
Right.
We don't want him to though.
I mean, I'm you know, like I said, I'm glad he did what he did. Honestly, I'm glad he ain't said nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he don't need to say nothing.
He don't even know how to talk, man. No. But at the same time, people were looking like, where Kanye West at between all this, man? Because
I don't need it.
The old Kanye died.
Yeah, the old Kanye
long
died,
time
you know
ago.
But the old Kanye would have said something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You know,
He would have said something appropriate.
But you know, I think everybody's waiting. Honestly, I think a lot of people are waiting on the verdict. Because right now it's time for the masses, the public to speak. I think the people who like you say, we've granted the power, I think they're taking a step back. Because nobody wants to end up with their foot in their mouth, right?
But that's when you kick them. That's when you kick them that's when you punch them in the stomach and knock all the wind out of them. When they can't do nothing, when they scared to do something. It's just like a bully. When you over there cowering and folding up, that's when the bully come and put it on you, right? So now we have to take that opportunity. While they waiting for this verdict, if anything, they gonna speed the damn trial up. Right. So while they waiting on this verdict and they scared and they nervous and uncomfortable, and now we have the upper hand in the bully fight, let's punch them. Let's punch them and build. Like, hey, I need $1 million check. I'm walking into the bank. I need $1 million check. I got the suit on. We took care of all that, write the check.
Right.
I need this permit signed right now. We're going to build this school and only black kids can go there. Write the check and sign the permits.
If he was the son of a district attorney or something, it'd have been a totally different thing.
You can shut me down after the verdict, but for right now, this school going to be open.
I'm going to be right here.
Until you have a verdict, I'm going to condition these parents and these students to come down here every day and get in your face and flinch at you. Like, you better not shut the school down after the verdict. We don't give a damn what you do. The school ain't shutting down. So that when after the verdict is done, they like, yeah, that school off limits. We let them have out.
Right.
That's what we gotta do.
I think from what I'm seeing, just from what I'm seeing, man, I have a feeling that a lot of these people who we're saying, speak up, say something. I think they're waiting. That's the game they've been playing for years. And we have to wake them up, just like we just woke up.
We got a million. We have several million people out there marching and protesting and looting and burning. Now we need them. Them the people that gotta be quiet because they're employers and they contracts. We need the million people on the street.
Right.
Because if, from a school perspective, if they put themselves or their kids out of the education system and they're a part of this new education system that's for us, by us, then that money, the governor has to rightfully sign that money over.
Right.
The mayors have to write the school district shuts down.
Exactly.
Or have to say, you know what, look, you gonna put us out of business, whoever, you're gonna put us out of business. So look, we'll split it with you. You take these districts in your communities, and then, we'll take these. And then that's when your intellects come in and say, all right, let's look at the fine print in this deal. Right? So we gotta be aggressive. We have to be intelligent, and we got goons out there. They looting and burning. And they ready. They burned down a police station and a courthouse. They ready.
I said it earlier. You're going to give me the respect that I deserve, or I'm going to take it by force.
Exactly.
So, look, damn it. Somebody put that on the side, because that should be the motto going forward.
Print the t-shirts.
Give me my respect, or I'm going to take it.
Print the t-shirts. Let's rock them. I'll wear one every day.
Look.
I'll wear it to work.
The minute you start acting aggressive, everybody got something to say, because you aggressive. You the aggressive black female. You are the aggressive black male, or you this, you that. Look, my aggression stems from multiple situations. Now I am giving to you what you made me feel in the process. In the process, now you get to feel the meager,
right?
Because all of this is meager. Because protest is meager compared to to death.
Right. Right.
I'm gonna give you my aggression.
Right.
So it's by force, and they gotta realize it. And these celebrities, I don't get on their head like that, because these dudes are singers, they rappers and stuff like that. They ain't civil activists. I get it. I get it. That wasn't what you was put here for. But you can say something. But I know that that's not your day-to-day, and that ain't what you was put here for. Everybody ain't good in front of the camera.
Right.
But at the same time, if we do it together, we can't be stopped.
Right.
Anything, no matter what it is, if we do it together, we can't be stopped.
Right.
Just my household alone. If I want to take over this block with just my household alone, with the force that we gonna give, I tell you what, they gonna have to beat us to the ground in order to get us not taking over this block. And that's just my house.
Right. Right.
Just imagine everybody.
Right.
But we do got to get the unity. And everybody keeps saying, black people ain't united within themselves. True. But we tend to get stuff in between that pushes us and get our minds to thinking against our own people. We don't feel like we're strong enough half the time.
Right.
Some of us.
And that was my question. But look, this is what I want to do, because you know how it goes. I want to take a step back. We're gonna get into 2 songs real quick. But we have to tell in, of our dialogue. But man, if you're tuning in, you're welcome. Hopefully you enjoy yourself. But we definitely gonna take a step back, get into some music, and then when we come back, we'll be giving our final thoughts. But it's been a good one. Fellas. Thank you for sure. We're gonna kick it off with some Devious to Deadbeat. This is one of my favorite songs of all time. What I got to say. We'll be right back.
Let's do it.
Soundz Taight Radio, the indie spot. We are back. In the building. Hopefully you enjoyed the music. I know we giving you a mix of like some old school, some new school, some independent, some mainstream. Like it's cool. We having some fun tonight. We having this dialogue. I'm digging it. Hopefully you guys are digging it too. Brother Fat Fire the Fever, Dr. Fat Fire the Fever, Brother Slide, Brother Compton is on the line. We in that downturn, to where unfortunately we got to take our last and final thoughts, But I do want to speak on something today, because the memorial service for George Floyd in Minneapolis, I heard this is one of 3 that's going on, but it was a good service. The young lady that sang, I think in the beginning or the middle, I was a little nervous when she was singing. I wanted to give her some more lyrics and another voice, but when Reverend Al Sharpton got on, and he got off. Oh, he got off. And I want to say, I've been in churches, and the Reverend that I listen to when I go to church, he didn't do what Al Sharpton does. And growing up, the pastor we had, he was cool. Reverend Fran was cool. He was always cool. And I enjoyed his sermons, but Sharpton kind of touched. He was aiming for the hearts today. He was aiming for the souls. What do you say? He's a fire starter, something like that. For him to admit it, and he actually did it today. I was thoroughly impressed. It was a heck of a way to kick off one of 3 memorial services for George Floyd and his family. I enjoyed it. It was wonderful. Now we have work to do, right? We wrote a check, and I want to say it's about to get cashed. That check is about to get cashed. We got work to do. We're about to get the reciprocation from this check. What are we gonna do with it? Let's start off with Brother Sly. Where are we at right now? What's the way forward from where we are?
Man, I think the first thing that comes to mind, man, I saw a video, man, because there's a ton of videos right now on the internet. There's a lot of, you know what I'm saying, of the protesting, you know what I'm saying, you got the violence and you got a lot of the inspirational stuff, man. I want to say that the coldest video, man, I seen from all this happening was, you got the young dude, he about 30 something, you know what I'm saying? And he listening to his older cat, he about 45 or whatever, you know. 45-year-old, he like, man, I'm fed up, man. Like I've been through all this before, you know what I'm saying? And I'm sick of it. And the young dude like, yeah, listen, I hear you. He goes, you know, how old are you? He goes, I'm 45. Young dude like, I'm 31, man, but check this out, man. This little boy right here, he's 16. So, and they both turn to the 16-year-old, they go, you gotta learn from our mistakes, man. And you gotta definitely, you know what I'm saying, see what's going on right here and make a difference, man, between you and your, you know what I'm saying, partners, your, you know what I'm saying, your peers, so that we don't have to go through all this again. You know what I mean? It's not up to us anymore. You know what I mean? Because when it's all said and done, you got to pass the torch somehow. And I think how we're passing the torch is how we going to catch that check. You know what I'm saying? When it's all said and done, you know, like with all the energy that we have, it's got to be dispersed somewhere. And my feelings, my opinions, man, we gotta push it to the youth, man. Teach them as much as we can. Show them, you know what I'm saying? There's a right way and there's a wrong way, man. And for some 100 years, we've been doing it the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? Not intentionally, you know what I'm saying? There's been a lot of outside influence, but you are freer than any of the past generations were here before. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. And we're fighting for you to be free. You know what I'm saying? There's always going to be more laws passed. Always going to be more laws passed to help you out. So when it's all said and done, you got to run with it and do it the right way. And I think that's how we're going to cash that check.
Dope. Brother Compton.
Man, passion, patience, and precision. We cash that check that way. You know, we take on every day as it is, like it or not. You know, we ain't got to love it to find some good in it and find a way to keep moving forward and strengthening our people along the way. You know, what they want is not what they'll get from our people. They'll never get what they want. What they want is you to go backwards. But the top is what we always been reaching for. It's always what we tugging at, always where we going, and we gonna get there eventually. You know, the only hole we could ever have as a culture is us. And now, today, just today, we got a lot of people backing us. Yeah. We got a lot of people backing us based on the fact that we never stopped tugging. We never stopped moving. We never stopped asking. We never gave up. It's our grandparents. We thank them. Our great-grandparents. We thank them. We thank all of them. Our parents. Whether it was a single-parent home, whether you had both parents, whatever the case may be, if you're strong enough to know wrong and you're good enough to go right, they did a damn good job. But we got to figure out who we are as people. And that's individually. Stop trying to be the next man. Stop trying to pull the next best thing. Stop trying to do what the next person got rich off of. Stop trying to move the streets. Stop trying to game the streets. Stop joining games to be accepted into something where people care about you. You know what I'm saying? Stop changing the way you act in your workplace. Stop treating your kids different than you treat the world. You know, focus in on who you are, and if you find out you and you teach you to be great, you can only teach every person you meet. as far as the world goes with, you know, injustice and equality and police brutality and murder and everything like that, look, my hopes is always that people just like me, I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it for mine. You want me, you come get me. If I got to die to get it, then we got to die to get it. If you want to touch mine, you're going to touch me first. And we just going to be some touched individuals, because you kill me, I give you a black eye. And that's for damn sure.
Yeah.
If the world believe in everything that I say and they listening to me, get their ass a black eye for every time they touch you. Because you wasn't put here for nobody to kill you. They didn't bring you here, they can't take you out. But if you bow and you lay and you let somebody do something to you, that's your fault. And that's not the situation we dealing with. They taking it by force, so we're gonna take that shit back. And that's just my opinion on it. You know, I love my people, man. I love all people. But my thing is always, man, we need education on what's going on. We need to force the eyes to watch the world that we live in day to day. Don't turn to no dramas. Love and hip hop, no none of that. Watch the world that we live in day to day. Because when that go off and that's scripted, you got to walk outside to the real world on what's really going on. And it could be your turn to get pulled over.
You know, the universe is king. Universe is king. Fun fact, we started off this year upside down. I don't know if everybody noticed this. I remember, you know, me and my brother were driving home in December, and you know, I got excited because we were upside down. I haven't seen us upside down in forever, you know, and then 2020 hits, and all of a sudden, here we go, you know. We're finally making our way upright, but we started off upside down. The world is with us, and I say with us lightly because we are the world, you know. There's African Americans all over the world. There's people of African descent all over the world. Everybody in the world is of African descent, whether they want to accept it or not. But when it comes down to pigment, and when it comes down to judging by the color of the skin, there's not a country, a continent, a city, a state where racism and prejudice doesn't exist. And this was the breaking point. I think the world had a chance to see and say, enough is enough, right? Enough is enough. How can we keep doing this? How do we go forward? There's no currency to replace the impact of racism. There's no currency that justifies it. Our kids are frustrated as parents. We're tired, but there's gas in the tank for the parents. And I want to say, not necessarily the parents, there's gas in the tank for the grandparents. The parents are just getting started. But for the grandparents, there's still some gas in the tank. They have just a little bit left to do, a little bit more to push forward so that the parents can bring it to the table and the kids can reproduce the harvest, right? I'm not like this brainiac. I'm not a politician or anything like that, but I do know, and I believe in the universe. And when it all comes together, we have Dr. 35, who's coming to us live and direct from Black Wall Street. By the grace of the universe. We could say it's by chance. Who knew we'd be here, he'd be there. Right. At this moment in time, where things took a turn, but it always boomeranged. Everything comes back home. The chickens will come home to roost no matter where you send them. It doesn't matter. So with that being said, I'll keep mine short and sweet. What's the grass? What are the trees? How was the breeze? What's the universe saying to you?
And it's telling me that we can do this again and have much more success. The first time they were able to do this here on this soil, it was extremely successful. We're talking about it 100 years later. It was burned down in 1922. 1921. It's 2020, 100 years later. It's time to rebuild. I mean, you said something earlier about us driving in the world being upside down. I thought you was crazy. But, you know, you was on to something, because if you think about it, this year started off upside down. COVID flipped it and turned it inside out. And then they got to killing us in the youth, the new generation, the new life, right? Came out and did something that's significant. You know, when babies are born upside down, they call that a breech birth, right? When all of this COVID happened, kids got antsy, they got tired of being in the house, and then they had their first opportunity to get out the house was to protest, right? And they came out of the house in that breached, right? That kiss my ass. If you come out ass first, it's kiss my ass, right?
Right.
And so these young folks came out with the kiss my ass. They got signs that said they burning the city down, and they like, nah, new life. It's a new day, and they not afraid. And so that's where we are. That's how I said. And so I'm gonna bring back that energy. And like we were talking about offline, we're gonna build something. We're gonna build something quick. We're gonna build something quick, because the more we talk about it, the more we not gonna do it. So we just gonna come and start building. If we mess up a brick, we scraping the mortar off and moving forward.
I dig it. I dig it. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're out there tuning in, if you want to be a part of this discussion, this dialogue, reach out. Just let us know. You know, there's quite a few people who reached out, and maybe they got cold feet. You know, you never know. Maybe like the day and their life just didn't give them the chance to be on tonight. But this was good. It gave us the chance to speak our mind with so much more. We're going to leave this conversation feeling like, shoot, we can go for another 4 hours. But that's the beauty of it.
Yeah,
that's the beauty of it. You save it for later, you know. But if you definitely want to be a part of it, hit us up. Search all your social media platforms, The Indie Spot, THA, Indie, INDIE Spot. Reach out to us. Fair Five, anything you want to give, some social media networks, connections where people can contact you, or you want to just see them here next time?
I'm on Instagram and Facebook at Fetty5 Fever, all one word. I'm on YouTube at Fetty5 Fever. You know, we're working, we're producing new content, new material. This summer is going to be exciting and interesting. COVID delayed the EP, but you know, perfect timing, because we back in the same position we were in when I did Pain, you know, on a slave ship, and with all the murders that we were experiencing, we still there. And so, man, we got content, we got material, and we definitely produced the soundtrack for this movement. So I'm looking forward to the summer with y'all. Love y'all at Fetty5 Fever, and we'll be doing this. We'll be doing this again.
Brother Slide, pass the glass. How you doing, man? Where we at?
I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed and highly favored, man.
Nice.
I'm out here, you know what I'm saying, doing my thing, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just happy to be back, man. You know what I'm saying? You always know me, man. I'm always gonna stick my my Megazord belt out, you know what I'm saying, when it's time to form like Voltron, you know. So but yeah, man, I guess you guys can holler at me on Instagram. That's my main, you know what I'm saying? Don't search for me on Facebook, man. I don't know you.
See, Slide Asshole's a brother from the motherland, you know what I mean? So we always connected. Yeah. Brother Compton, man, he got the baby with him, man. This is the beautiful thing, you know. She's getting. I remember her when she was this big. Now, you know, now she's taking up the screen. This is all right. This is all good.
Yeah, man. You guys catch me on I got 2 Instagrams. I got old.nerdy.bastard, old.nerdy.bastard. You know what I'm saying? That's my main account. And then I got a business, man. I sell comics on the side. So nice. Comics.expectations, man. So y'all trying to support Black business, man. Come buy some books from your boy, man. You know what I'm saying? Let me educate you on some of the superhero shit, man. I got you. But
nice. I'm gonna need one of them Incredible Hulk classics or something like that. I got to jump in there.
I got some. I got a whole entire volume. I got you.
Oh yeah. So we got to hook the son up.
From the 70s, man. I got you, man.
Nice.
I think they're in storage, but I got you.
Hey, I want the version with the spider webs on it. I want to be able to. And Moses appear.
Like,
I want the oldest version.
They delicate, man. So you might have to wear some gloves reading the shit. You know what I'm saying? Or if you want to read it, man, I might even just give you the digitals, so you ain't got to open the motherfucker.
I want one that got polio on it. You know what I mean? I want it that old.
Oh man.
Nah, Brother Compton, man. This is beautiful, man. You got the family in there with you, dude. We're gonna do this again. We gotta do this again.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna take a step back. we're gonna send them home. You know, it's a lot of music in the catalog. You know, I got some good cop, bad cop, Ice Cube. I don't know if I want to send them home with that, you know, but
Yeah,
I
you
think
send
we
them
go.
home with that.
Can Brother Sly get a request, man?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Man, J. Cole, Be Free, bro. For
Got
the
you.
people.
All right, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Got you. We gonna hit him with some Ice Cube. We got some J. Cole following up. A few more songs, just like sit at home. But thank you for tuning in. We'll be back here. We'll announce when we'll be back. You know, we'll be back, date and time and all that good stuff. But this is the start of something good. So to you fellas, salute. Thank you. We'll be talking. Soundz Taight Radio at any spot. Enjoy the music. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Like.